Good morning, everyone. Today I have just done a little bit of work so far and I'm just sitting down to eat lunch. It's a little bit late. I think it's like 1 p.m., maybe 2 p.m. I have no idea what time it is actually. I am eating this, which is leftovers from yesterday. I made vegan pot pies, I think they're called. Basically, this is kind of like a biscuit that goes on top and then like the pot pie filling in there. So I'll probably leave the recipe down below if you guys are curious. There's a recipe for the biscuits and then also a separate recipe for the mixture. I thought it was a pretty good thing, and I never really had a lot of like chicken pot pie when I was little, but basically it tastes like the exact same thing to me. Hey guys, so I just got out from the hospital getting my blood drawn and it wasn't a very good experience. Like, the blood draw itself was fine. Like, she only had to like poke me once and I barely felt it. Like, that wasn't a big deal. It was just like, I've been trying ever since my cardiologist appointment, so probably a couple days ago, I've been trying to get that doctor to send over my blood work. So they're 3.5 hours away and they needed to ship it to this clinic. They needed to fax it over. So I had to call 3 times and finally they faxed it over. So I called them at like 4 something just to make sure they had gotten the fax. And they're like, oh yeah, the fax is here. Are you coming tonight? And then I was just like, oh, I didn't know there was time. Like, if I came tonight, like, would there be time for me to get my blood drawn? And they're like, oh yeah, you can come, like, any time before 5 is fine. So I got in the car and I got here like 10 minutes before 5 o'clock, and I went up to him and I was like, is it okay if I check in for blood work or is it too late? And they're like, oh no, it's fine, like, you can check in. So I checked in, and then once they like got all the blood work stuff ready, they have like all these little labels that they put on your blood tubes. I don't know what they're called. And I just wanted to verify a couple of things because there was one blood test that I have to take while I'm sitting, and then the other test is while I'm standing. No idea what the blood test is for, no idea why I have to sit for one of them and then stand for one of them. But she got like really weird about it and she's like, I don't have any orders for that. And I was like, oh, they must have like forgotten to fax them over or whatever. And she was like, she just got really funny and she wasn't very friendly the whole time. So I was just like, okay, like, what did I do wrong? And then she was like, so I had like a huge sheet of blood work. Like, she printed off all the labels and it was like dragging on the floor. And I was like, oh my goodness, do I have to that many vials done? And she's like, yeah, it probably would have been better if you came like during normal hours. And I was just like, I felt really bad. Like, I didn't even know what to say because I was like, I asked like 3 times if it was okay if I came later, but she was just kind of like made that comment. And I wonder if it's like getting to the end of her shift and she just wants to go home. Like, I don't know, but I just didn't really say anything and I was just like, okay. And then she was like, so like, you must have something going on if you need this much blood work going, like this much blood orders. And I was like, yeah, I just got diagnosed with something called POTS. And then I was like, are you familiar with it? And she's like, no, I'm not. So I was like, it stands for postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. And I was like, basically it causes me to pass out a lot. And she was like, oh, should I have someone in here with you? And I was like, I mean, I don't know, I've never had this much blood drawn at one time, but I've also never passed out while having blood taken. So she like leaves to go find someone to like watch me, I guess. And then she comes back like 5 minutes later and she's like, this is another reason that you probably should have came during normal hours. And I was just like, oh, like, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't even know what to say. I was like, well, should I leave and come back? Like, I don't know. They said it was fine like 100 times, so that's why I came. So then she just goes ahead and gets the orders, and there was there's 3 blood tests that were missing, and I have to call them and have them fax those 3 orders again because they didn't get them. And so I just went ahead and did it anyways because I was like, I don't know how long it's gonna take for them to fax those, and I'd rather just get these done. So they took all the bloods and all the bloods. They took all like the blood, and the whole time she was like making sure I was okay. She just kept talking to me because I think she thought I was gonna pass out. And I was like, yeah, it's mostly like I mostly only pass out like when I change postures, like when I change like positions. So yeah, I don't know, she seemed like really friendly while I was getting my blood taken, but then like before and after she was just like not very friendly. So I don't know. I was just frustrated because I feel like all the receptionists and all of like the people I've been working with recently have not been very friendly. Like, I feel like the people I talk to on the phone at my doctor's office aren't very friendly, and I feel like the receptionists here were not very friendly, and it's just been like a week or 2 of people not being very friendly to me, and that's hard with someone with anxiety, and it's hard to stick up for yourself. Like, I'm one who normally would like, you know, kind of like submit and be like, oh, I'm sorry, whatever, but part of my therapy recently has been like to stick up for myself and like really get my point across. So I was just kind of like, well, this is how it is, like I need this done. I don't know if any of that just made sense, but I was just kind of frustrated, so I just wanted to rant a little bit. But the blood draw went fine. I did not pass out. They gave me some water afterwards, and they ran out of cups, so I was drinking out of like a pea specimen cup. And she's like, oh, don't worry, it's completely sterile. And I was just like, this is so weird. Like, what am I doing? I don't know. It was just a weird experience, not the most fun thing, and probably will be back here next week getting the rest of the blood drawn, but I think it's only going to be like 1 or 2 vials next time, not like, I think I had like 10 maybe this time. I don't know. It was a lot. So anyways, I'm gonna go because I'm just rambling. Now I am headed into Shopko to grab my new prescription. I'm gonna be trying out a medication called propranolol. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in my last vlog. May have, I'm not sure. And basically it's a medication that can help anxiety, but it can also help lower your heart rate. So it's actually made for heart rate reasons and blood pressure reasons, not for anxiety, but it does help anxiety. So that is what I'm going to go ahead and grab. This is going to be the new medication I'm trying out for my POTS, and if it drops my blood pressure too much, then I have to start taking another medication to raise my blood pressure. So little confusing. I'm hoping my blood pressure won't drop too low, so we'll just have to go and see.